For the last 3 weeks, I've been trying to bring you the first installment of my new series, Arcade City, which will use the wooden DIY arcade stick from a few videos back. I've been running into all sorts of technical issues, however. MAME is a fickle beast. Long story short, the first video was intended to be based around iRobot, unrelated to Will Smith, but I've encountered all sorts of issues, with the biggest problem being that the controller profiles keep changing mid-game. I'm at my wit's end, so until I sort that mess out, how about a nice, simple, calming racing game? OutRun on the Game Gear stood out as a shining beacon of light in this time of crisis, and its pure straightforward approach and simple nature is doing wonders for my blood pressure. It's so uncomplicated in fact, that we better just cut straight to the game footage. Half of this video will be my sweaty face otherwise. OutRun, the enormously popular arcade game from 1986, is one in a long list of successful games produced from the very talented mind of Yu Suzuki, who has ported to just about everything you can think of, from the MSX to the Sega Saturn, and the humble Game Gear was no exception. Seeing its day in the sun in 1991, the same year the handheld was released in North America and Europe, this port is obviously not going to bring anything new to the table thanks to technical limitations. However, the programmers have utilised the Z80 processor to leverage a very capable and functioning version of the game. The premise of OutRun is simple. You're equipped with a Ferrari and a lady friend to sit in the passenger seat, and the goal is to drive as fast as possible to one of 3 killer tunes. Passing Breeze is my personal favourite. There is no one else to race in the main mode, but there are plenty of Sunday drivers that will need to be manoeuvred around, as well as obstacles on the side of the road that can be crashed into. The clock is constantly ticking down, but the nice gimmick is the branching routes that can be taken to goal. Each landscape is remarkably distinct, including cityscapes, countrysides, and even the pyramids. At the end of each segment, you're given the choice of a fork in the road, and this initiates a lovely transition that plays out as you go from one location to another, which looks stunning even in 8-bit. Let's take a moment to appreciate its beauty. It doesn't matter which route you choose, however, as there will always be 4 different locations out of 10 to achieve completion. This is a step down from the arcade's original 5, but since sacrifices had to be made somewhere for such low-end hardware, it's kind of a moot point to complain about. Otherwise, the Game Gear does a decent job of replicating the speed of the arcade original, although driving up and down rolling hills does look a bit odd. I actually thought the game was glitching out originally. The clipping leaves a bit to be desired too. I wouldn't try and squeeze between 2 cars at high speed, it will never end well. I love the graphics though, as the artist has done a smack-up job of drawing the backgrounds. It's what makes this game really, as leisurely cruising through these environments with your girl and the great soundtrack is what made OutRun something special. And by the way, if you're wondering how I'm capturing this footage, it is on real hardware which has been made possible with a GGTV mod chip. I have a previous video where I install and review the chip. There should be a thingo on screen now if you'd like to see it. Besides from the main mode, which admittedly is lacking in replayability, there's another where you race the computer. Here, the streets are empty of other cars. The objective is to beat a blue version of the iconic Ferrari Testarossa on a selection of tracks. Simple stuff, although ultimately a no-frills single race mode. There is also multiplayer if you possess a gear-to-gear cable and a separate console and cartridge, but I don't, so I can't show you that here. And really, that's all there is to say about OutRun on the Game Gear. It's a nice distraction, and OutRun Europa was also released on the system if you're craving more OutRun on Sega's faithful handheld. But that's what it is really, a distraction. It's great to pick up and play for 20 minutes or so, but I doubt you'll be returning to it for years to come. It succeeded in distracting me from my arcade stick for a few days, that's the truth, but it's back to the real world now, sonny boy. I'll see you in the next video, retro gamers, one which will hopefully involve the wonderful world of arcade gaming.